press release says that Pat Kiely from Navan is an inventor with a passion for saving money as well as making it. His latest invention will not only slash your fuel bills by 80 to 90%, it'll also go a long way towards reducing the harmful effects the burning of fossil fuels is having on our environment. The name is Heatese. It's a brand new system and it has some amazing benefits, which we're going to hear about now from the man himself. I'm delighted to welcome Pat Kiely, the inventor, to the show, and he's joined by Liam Birkett, who's a business consultant. Gentlemen, good to see you both. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Jerry.
Straight to point here, Pat. What is this? Now, let me tell you how I'm a Luddite when it comes to all this stuff. Okay. But in my home, if I can bring it back to my home, I have a new condenser boiler I had to put in last year outside the wall of my house now, which is fed with kerosene, and it burns away and it heats my house and the radiators are warm, and that's what I know about it. What have you invented? Is it that condenser we're talking about, that boiler?
Yeah, my system works with a condenser, but unlike a standard heating system, mine stores the energy. So for argument's sake, let's say you knock your heating system off at 6 o'clock this evening and you come back at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, it's going to be stone cold. As for my system, it would be at 55 degrees if you knocked it off at 6 o'clock this evening. So it actually stores the water inside it for your home.
Within the actual condenser unit and all that?
Yes, in the system itself.
It's there?
Yes, so it stores it. So unlike other systems that lose their energy, this stores its energy.
And what does that mean then? If I come back at 6 in the morning and I switch on, will I have heat immediately?
Yes, because the water will be at, let's say you knocked it off, let's say you have it on for 2 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening, for argument's sake. That's what most people put their heating on. So in the morning, you say you had it on for 2 hours and you have the water coming into your radiators and your cylinder to heat your hot water at 60 degrees. And let's say then at 10 o'clock it knocks off. And then in the evening time, you want to put it back on again. When you put it back on again, unlike our rivals that are stone cold and they have to reheat themselves back up again.
They take a bit of time to heat up.
Ours would be already at 55 or 56 degrees.
And where is that stored? Is it stored in the condenser itself?
No, it's stored. Ours is, it's a very large system. Yeah. It goes out the back of your home. Okay. Or it goes into your garage. It comes in its own cabinet. Right. So everything is in the system itself. So unlike a conventional boiler, it stores its energy. Then it gives it out quickly out to you when you need it. So that's
one benefit of it. But how are you saving me all this money in terms of kerosene consumption?
Okay, the way I do it is, a normal boiler is designed to come on for, normally if you ever listen to them, they come on for 3 minutes on and 3 minutes off. My system comes on like a semi-detached house, it'll come on for 10 minutes on and then it will stay off for 35 minutes. But when it's off for 35 minutes, it's actually still pushing the hot water into your home. So it's only 10 minutes on and 35 minutes. So that means you're only using oil for 10 minutes in every 45 minutes, compared to a conventional boiler that would be on for 22 minutes in every 45 minutes, let's say.
Like you, Jerry, I was a Luddite.
Okay.
So I've got to speak in the way that the normal listener is thinking.
Right, Liam.
And all of this started was necessity was the mother of invention. And if you listen to Pat's story, he had properties and he was spending a fortune on heating oil. And he says, I've got to find a better way of doing this.
That's true, yeah.
So what did you do? Tell me what happened. How did you go about necessity, the mother of invention, as Liam says?
Basically what happened one day, I was there a few friends of mine, and basically was in actually a restaurant, and one of the guys put his hands over a candle, and the guys would be saying, like, keep your hand over the candle, see how long you can keep it there. And I realised it wasn't the candle that was burning people's hands, it was actually the air. So my system is designed that when the flame comes in inside it, you're heating the air. You're not actually heating anything directly inside. So we just simply heat air, and the air heats the steel and the copper. Because my system is also made from copper. Everybody else is just using steel. And copper is one of the best conductor of heats.
So that was one thing that opened your mind. There was another aspect to this as well, was that the candle was one thing, there was something else?
Well, it was more so when you basically, how should I say to you, when you heat air, okay, you're heating the air. You need to, air is not as dense, as I should say, than steel or water. So it takes very, very little energy to heat air. So that's the reason why it's so efficient. I use a very, very small flame inside of mine compared to my competitors would use an awful lot of a bigger flame, which they have to use an awful lot more oil when their flame is on compared to when my flame is on. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this not technical, so trying to keep us,
We were talking before we came on then, trying to do a comparison with a conventional system that you have today and the amount of kerosene it would use over an hour, was it you said?
Yes.
The system I have would use how many litres? 2.5?
About 2.5. Good aerated systems use maybe 2.5. Some bad systems could use up to 4 litres of oil an hour.
An hour?
An hour.
What does yours use?
The thing that captured my imagination when I first came across this was the story that Pat was saying about, on average, most people will turn on for 2 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the afternoon.
Yeah,
that's a total
right.
of 5 hours. Now, they will consume about 12.5 litres.
Yes,
of oil.
on average.
Yep. Heatese uses only half a litre. I mean, that's a mind-boggling thing.
Yeah, it's 2.5 litres.
2.5 litres?
Versus 12.5 litres.
Versus 12. So a half a litre per hour. Heatese, this system
a
uses...
semi-detached house at 50 cents a litre of oil, 25 cents an hour.
Do you know, and when we extrapolated that, if you left the heating system on all day, every day for 365 days a year, you would actually save €1,800. I mean, that's colossal. And the cost of getting it in the first place is once, but your savings are forever.
Are over year on year on year. I'm away on holidays, boys. I'm just thinking about it here already. And I'm going far. And
but if you think about this, Jerry, that we're talking about houses here, but factories, business
hotels,
premises,
schools,
hotels, all of those. Take hotels and guest houses who need to have the heat on all the time. They need hot water constantly because there's demand for it. With the Heatese system, they have it, and they have it at a fraction of the cost, so that they can be super generous with their heat and hot water.
And the installation and the cost of putting them in will be only a fraction of what.
So, Pat, how did you come up with this? Have you worked in this? Is it purely from being a man who has a number of properties and was... paying out a lot to heat them?
Well, it started out as that. I've always had I don't have an engineering background.
That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
How did you design this? How did you...
Well, I used to service my own boilers, and I used to look at them, and I'd be cleaning them out, and I'd used to look at all the plates inside, and they were all warped, and I'd look how inefficient, how the heat went in, and how the heat just came out the chimney. And I used to go, this is crazy. And it basically started off as a hobby years and years ago. And not that my woman was too happy with me at the time, but anyway, that's the way I'm like.
A hobby doesn't put food on the table.
No,
Go on.
But anyway, basically it started out as a hobby, and then after years and years of just basically playing around with it, I figured it out that by using a very, very small, again came back to candle, by heating the air, you don't need much energy to heat air. And by heating the air and holding that air, and sealing it in an area and using that air to heat all the surfaces. That way, you're heating loads of surfaces. It means you can heat whatever it's in contact with that.
Yeah.
And also copper. Nobody else is using copper. Copper is one of the best conductors of heat. Part of our heating system is the roof of it. Like, no one else has used the roof of a boiler, for argument's sake. And ours is not even classed as a boiler, but the roof of ours is actually made of copper. And up over that is a big tank that holds all the water that finally goes out. So, as I said to you, it's completely different than anything else that's out in the market.
Liam, are there any downsides to this?
No, the upside is that this is an invention. And because it is an invention, we've been able to patent it. And by being able to patent it, we are now rolling out that patenting process internationally, so that not only can we manufacture the product here and this heating system here, we can license it internationally. And at the moment, there are a number of outsiders coming in because they are amazed at how this thing works. It is incredible. And that's why we bring them to the premises in Ballivor and they see it for themselves. And Pat has been able to rig up readouts so that they can see it, and it is proof positive that it actually works. And some of them are saying, my goodness, my hotels, I can heat my hotels and the water for a fraction of what it's costing me at the moment. And then the same can be said of hospitals and of schools and of all those who have heat demands but who cannot afford them.
This is kerosene based at the moment.
Yeah.
Will you adapt it for gas?
Yeah, in the new year I hope to bring it back to BSI, and BSI then basically all that's going to happen is the burner will be taken out of the existing unit and a gas burner will be put in, and they'll just do the exact same test again. But I've already been assured that there's no problem.
It can be adapted.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And builders are very interested in this, because for new builds, this is something that they can put into their properties, and it becomes a marketing plus.
Could I tomorrow take your system and hook it up to my house as it presently exists with the radiators, the convection radiators that are there at the moment?
Yeah, no problem. It will heat standard radiators and a standard cylinder water in your house, or with our system we have a convector radiator.
Sorry, the standard radiator is the one I have. I beg your
steel
pardon.
Radiator, yeah.
The convector is the other one, isn't it?
Our system works a convector radiator.
Which blows out air, is it?
Blows out hot air. It's something like people will be familiar with an electric fan in their room, for argument's sake.
Does it work more ideally with the convector than the standard radiator?
It'll work with both. Like for argument's sake, my own house, I've got a house which is 6,000 square foot house. It's single glazed windows because it's a Georgian house. So you can't put double glaze in, and I'm heating that house for the last 3 years, 32 radiators, and I'm heating 2 large cylinders of water which hold 200 litres of water in them each, which is 400 litres of water, and I'm heating that successfully for 2 litres of oil an hour.
And these builders that I'm speaking about, they are very keen on this, because as well as seeing the savings, they have seen the units themselves. And because the way it is cleverly constructed by Pat, it is very easy to maintain and easy to install. And so they're cutting down with all of their headaches, eliminating the headaches, and getting a better result by spending a little amount of money to get a fantastic system.
So the initial outlay is the costly part of it, and after that, as each year goes by, you're recouping your cost and making these savings. Sounds like a no-brainer to me.
Instead of giving it to your oil man, you're simply giving it back to yourself.
Well, we have testimonials from engineers who are delighted with this thing, and that's why if they go to Heatese, HEATESE.com, there's a video showing exactly how it works and explaining how it works.
It's on Done Deal as well, which a lot of people look at.
Are you manufacturing these? Are they available at the moment?
Yes, we have a factory there, and we're in manufacturing at the moment. We just started that, and we've offices and showrooms at that address, and we're hoping to open up more showrooms throughout the country as well now.
So this is on an upward spiral for
absolutely.
sure.
We're not making the units there, we're assembling them there.
Yes.
So what we're doing is we're promoting Irish jobs. We're also supporting local Irish jobs in different factories as well.
And I heard it first on LMFM, the voice of the Northeast.
I like you an awful lot, Liam Birkett.
I'm worth every penny you pay me, Jerry.
You're saying all the right things. This is terrific news, I have to say, and I congratulate you on it, because you're a local guy from the Northeast. You know what I mean? You've come up with something that you've discovered yourself, you've proven that it works, and you're starting out on this incredible, exciting journey. And Liam, just before we finish, as regards protecting this, patents, the international stuff, this can be tied up for this man.
It has been, because we have registered trademark, we have filed for the patent, and that will be rolled out internationally.
It's a terrific local story, I have to say. Congratulations to you on what you've come up with. It is brilliant.
And thanks for having us on, Jerry.
I'm delighted to have you on and highlight here. And just again to mention, it's Heatese.com. That's HEATESE.com. And we have the guys' contact details as well, and we'll give it out to you off 1850 715 958. Warm for winters and springs and cool autumns to come, at a fifth of the price it's been in the past. Just think about that, folks. Well done again, and thank you both for joining me on the show this afternoon. Pat Kiely and Liam Birkett.
Thank you kindly,
Thank you very
Jerry.
much.